Welcome back to another video on the JJ Think Tank. In this one I want to talk about Lacan again, and this time about his concept of suturing the cause. Suturing the cause and its relation to trauma and mental health. And why applying this concept to our lives, we can improve our mental health a lot, definitely, and we can create a higher level of order. So yes, I'll talk a bit about this concept and relate it to my own personal experience and the strategies that I use to suture the cause. Yes. So obviously suturing, it's another word for stitching up, yes? Stitching up. So in the material world, we can stitch up our wounds, yes? So I had a few wounds. So I had this traumatic bike accident when I was small. And I've got a scar here, still visible, a small scar. I have a scar here because part of my ear was bitten off by an Irishman in Liverpool. I've got a small scar here as well. So obviously it's important to stitch up our bodily scars. Yes, we don't want our body to be opened up. Yes, but we also have scars like within us. We have scars in our psyche, yes, in our minds, kind of gaps and scars. We need to stitch these gaps and scars up, yes, in the psychological sense, yes. And this is why psychoanalysis is a brilliant discipline. I think it's still relevant. I still think psychoanalysis helps us to improve our lives. So obviously the three main psychoanalysts are Freud, Jung and Lacan. I think they are the three most important ones, perhaps. The ones that I have come across. I'm sure there are many others, but I just haven't heard of them. I haven't read any of their works yet. But yeah, so far I've read a couple of books by Jung. I remember when I was in Liverpool, I read a couple of books of his, and recently I read this one book by Lacan, yes, the Lacanian Subject by Bruce Fink. I don't have it on me at the moment. Actually, I borrowed it to my sister, but I made a video about this book. I already made a video about it, a book review. You can find it on my channel, and I think it's a brilliant book. It's a brilliant book. It's got so many fascinating concepts, and it clears up a lot of confusion, I think. It helped me a lot, so I recommend getting this book and perhaps reading it. Sorry, there's this fly here, it's annoying me. So yes, anyway, let's get into my article now. And I began my quote I began my article with this quote. This is how it goes. I identify myself in language, but only by losing myself in it like an object. That's a beautiful quote. I remember I was definitely lost in language. I didn't have a grasp of language, either Polish or English, for a while, yes. I had problems. I still have problems to this day, perhaps. Sometimes I make mistakes when I speak, etc. But I guess overall I'm getting better, slowly but surely. And I think if you are lost in language, then this is a source of mental health issues. You need to grasp language more. You need to be more in control of how you use language, yes? And obviously there are many strategies. You can write, you can read, you can speak, and you can listen, yes? Obviously all of these strategies are important, but we need to use all of them, yes? So yes, one moment, I'm just gonna get rid of this fly. Okay, so it's still here, unfortunately, so I'll just have to get used to this fly. Anyway, so yes, we need to find ourselves in language, and we need to lose ourselves in language. We need to constantly improve our language skills, yes? Because I think this really does have an impact on our mental health. But now, going back to my article, what are these scars? These internal scars? What are they? Well, for me, it's experiencing this void or abyss. Yes, and I remember I experienced this void or abyss when I was around 20 or so. It was a weird experience. It was after some bad periods in my life. I guess it was the end of a certain part of my life, I guess. I remember this happened after I was involved in negative behavior. I didn't have good habits. I was lost. I was kind of drinking a lot. I wasn't productive in any way, and eventually it ended up. Yes, I ended up in this situation. Yes, and it was weird. I was kind of lying on my bed, and then I just saw kind of a void in between my eyes and my brain. It was weird, like a void or abyss. And I remember I just cried. I cried a lot. I don't know why. It's just weird. And I guess it was maybe a mental breakdown. I guess this is what happens when you have a mental breakdown. Yes, something just goes wrong with your brain. Yes, and yes, this happened when I was 20 or so. And after this, I remember I slowly began to wean myself off all these bad habits that I had. It took me a while. Yes, I had some addictions. I didn't exercise much. I didn't do anything productive, really, to be honest. And when I started to read Nietzsche, this was during a time when I read Nietzsche, yes. So a couple of years later, when I was maybe 22, 21, I started to read all of the works of Nietzsche, and he has this brilliant passage, yes, this aphorism, which reads, "Whoever fights monsters should see to it that in the process he does not become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will gaze back into you." And that's true. We constantly need to fight against this abyss. We don't want to fall into it, yes? Because then we will become a monster. We don't want to become a monster, do we? So this is a brilliant aphorism by Nietzsche, and I remember it had an impact on me. So, unfortunately, this abyss is a part of ourself, yes? We will die eventually. So, I mean, the abyss is a part of ourself, yes? It's a part of us. So, all we can do is confront it, but not be consumed by it, yes? And this is where Lacan comes in. I think he's very helpful in helping us to not be consumed by the abyss, to confront it, but not be consumed by it. And at first, when we experience this void, this abyss, the unconscious has its sway over us. It controls us. We don't understand ourselves, our place in the world. Yes, and therefore, we won't have a solid footing. Our lives will be dysfunctional, chaotic. We're lost. What do we do? Yes. What do we do? What am I meant to do with my life? What? Everything's just meaningless. You're just looking around. Like, what am I meant to do? But I guess eventually, once you're patient, once you start to once you start to keep track and maintain all of these habits that subconsciously will help you. I guess this is God, yes? I mean, this is why I believe in God. I think he's a force that directs us in our life. We just have to trust the process, trust God, and follow our conscience. And over time, we can stitch up this gap in our psyche, yes? And this helps us to bring, more structure and order to the workings of this unconscious by suturing the cause. And I really love this phrase, suturing the cause. And I've tried to apply it. I've tried to apply all of this, this concept to my life. Yes. And one way to suture a cause is by creating a fantasy to work on in the symbolic world. So obviously there are many parts of the symbolic world, many ways that the symbolic world is expressed. It's expressed via mathematics, it's expressed via language, it can be expressed via theatre, it can be expressed via art, I guess, when you paint. The symbolic world is multifaceted, it's multivarious. There's so many ways that we can get involved with the symbolic world. And this is why fantasy is nothing wrong with having a fantasy, yes. The fantasy is a defense mechanism, yes, in a way. I mean, if we think about it, all the great works of literature, they are a product of fantasy, really, aren't they? We can think of Lord of the Rings, we can think of science fiction, we can think of fantasy novels, other fantasy novels like Aragon, Aragon by Christopher Paolini. He just copied, I think, Lord of the Rings, didn't he? But I mean, they're decent books. So you get my point, yes? We need to create a fantasy to work on because this is one aspect of mental health, and it eventually actually helps us to become more grounded in language. And this is, as I reiterated before, it's a key aspect of mental health. So over time, this lack, this gap, this void, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, yes? I mean, I think it's always there, unfortunately. You can't totally get rid of it. But at least it gets smaller, yes? And this is a good process. It means that you're getting healthier, yes? You're more in touch with reality and, you're making your unconscious conscious. So this is a good sign, yes? But ultimately, I think personally, we're always trapped to a degree in this kind of vicious circle, yes? I don't know if we can totally escape this abyss. Perhaps we can. I don't know. Maybe we can. Maybe I haven't yet. Maybe I'm on the verge of escaping it. I don't know. But it's always there, yes. And this is what Lacan noticed. This was Lacan's view, that this lack is always there, yes. It's what keeps driving us forward, I guess. And yes, so this is one way that we can stitch up the horror of the void, yes? How we can fight against the abyss. Then there are other, obviously, practical strategies, like reading, writing, I already mentioned this, thinking, exercising, playing the piano, instrument as well. Playing an instrument, learning to play an instrument, even if it's at a low level, it really does help. It really does help, I think. Because I think music, playing a musical instrument, it links the two hemispheres of the brain. The left hemisphere and the right hemisphere are more linked if you start playing a musical instrument. So this is important, I think. Learning another language as well, it helps. So there's so many ways, yes, that we can boost our mental health and suture the cause. So every individual has their own ways, their own preferred modes of action. But yes, we just need to act, and taking action is what negates the lack and prevents it from becoming bigger. Because when we don't act, we start to get anxious, and this anxiety is not good. Yes. So it's a constant battle. I mean, it's a battle we have to fight every day. Really, life is a constant battle. So it's better just to accept reality for what it is and move forward. So, last but not least, before I finish, I want to again return to language and link it to my previous article. So I wrote another article about Lacan, and about how we need to occupy our place in language, yes, and in the signifying chain. And I love this. This is another brilliant, brilliant concept by Lacan. How we need to, just accept our place in the hierarchy, in the signifying chain, and start to, share our ideas, our thoughts, etc. Yes, and we have to make this move. I think if you're always perhaps on the sidelines, if you're not getting involved, getting stuck in, if you feel insecure, if you think you'll be made fun of, etc., then I think ultimately this is the wrong move. It might haunt you later on. Yes, so it's better just to make the move. Yes, make the move and be in touch with your subjectivity. So I think this is linked to subjectivity definitely. When we occupy a place in a signifying chain, we start to get a sense of our subjectivity. But this subjectivity is fleeting. It's not constant. It comes and goes like a flash of lightning. This is how I interpret subjectivity. So suddenly the flash of lightning comes down, and then suddenly there's no lightning for a month or for 5 months, and then it comes back down again, and then it goes. And yes, I guess an important way to boost our subjectivity, our sense of subjectivity, is finding people who we can relate to, yes, on a deeper level. I think this is key. This is key. Friendship, finding people who you can talk to, who understand your mind to a degree, who, if you operate on the same wavelength, then this helps, yes, and yes, it's another important part of suturing the cause, I think. But yes, when it comes to our subjectivity, we have to be patient. We have to wait our turn. We have to be patient, trust the process, and I think eventually events become materialized. Things just happen, yes. So yes, that's the end. I don't want to waste more of your time. I hope this important concept helped you. I mean, it really helped me. It really helped me, and if you apply it to your own life, you'll definitely achieve more coherence and wholeness. This is what I've noticed. And Lacan is a brilliant psychoanalyst. I like this little diagram here: being, subject, and then nonsense. Because the world there is this nonsense. There is this element of meaninglessness in the world. Sometimes it does seem meaningless, just nonsense everywhere, right? And then sense is the other. This is important. The other person, yes, he or she gives us sense, yes. And these three worlds, they constantly interact with each other, yes. So, yeah, that's the end of my video. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. You could have spent your time elsewhere, but you decided to listen to this video on the JJ Think Tank. So once again, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best. Take care.